for anyone who really took a step back and really is like, how am I going to make this summer work? How am I going to be able to spend the time I want with my kids and still run a business? That there are other options available. It requires planning. Welcome to Purposeful Podcasting. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Crystal. This podcast is meant to share how we and other entrepreneurs bring together purpose and passion to leverage profit in our businesses.
We are shining a light on adventure-loving, purpose-driven, action-minded, authentic, and rebellious entrepreneurs.
Just like us.
So join us as we talk about business and life and everything in between. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Purposeful Podcasting. Hi, I'm Wendy, and I'm here with
Crystal, everybody's favorite marketer.
Wow. Well, it's true, but that's so blatantly
in your face.
Exactly. Wow. Well, hi, everyone. So you're hearing this a couple weeks after we're recording this podcast. We decided this morning that after some contemplation and purposefulness, that we are going to take time off this summer to enjoy our lives. I know you're like, well, that's nice, but why tell us? I think it's because a lot of entrepreneurs are going through what we're going through right now. A lot of entrepreneurs are thinking, oh my God, I can't take time off over the summer. I can't figure out how I'm juggling. I just don't know what I'm doing. And we're hearing that a lot from clients. So it sort of hit us. And we actually, Crystal said to me, what if we took some time off this summer?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sure. No problem.
Yeah. And when I said take time off, I really said, what if we just focused on list building, the podcast, but not trying to sell a bunch of offers? Never fear, current clients, you're still getting loved, you're still getting taken care of, keeping all of our scheduled appointments. But I think you get into this season as an entrepreneur where you're always trying to hustle for new business, and we need to have this launch, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. And at the same time, like Wendy said, we're hearing from our clients and we're hearing from other people, and we're feeling it ourselves. We're moms. We've got 1,000 different things going on this summer, different clinics, different camps, different things and priorities pulling on our attention right now. So what does it mean to shift the priority and shift the focus? What does it mean to slow things down on the business side to make room for other priorities in life? Is that a bad thing? And is that even something that we're capable of? And so I think that was like the first question was, how do you know that you can do that in your business?
Which, of course, is a fantastic question. This is stuff that we preach. We preach this all the time. You really have to know what your runway looks like. You have to know what your financial or resource expectations are. And resource can be not just money, but time and energy. And if you can swing it, I think that this is maybe a really great podcast for people who are also thinking about maybe I don't want to work in December, or I need to plan now so I don't have to work next summer. While we made the decision, hey, we can do some pivoting in terms of our life right now. I think for some people, it may be like, oh, I just want to plan ahead. And I can tell you that what we do this summer, I'm really planning on doing again next summer. I think the first thing is definitely know your runway, know where you are money-wise. And is this something that you can do, or can you make adjustments that allow you to?
Yeah. When I think it's asking yourself, like the first episode of the season was, why are you in business? And really drilling into the purpose and knowing what your motivating factors are for being an entrepreneur. Is it that you have to make a lot of money? Well, maybe the decision to pull back isn't quite as easy depending on how you've budgeted out the rest of your year. Maybe, like you said, the fact that we know our runway, we've got enough money in the bank we've got enough cash flow all of our operating expenses will be fine if we did dial it back, if we didn't launch as much, if we didn't try to fill in the couple of extra client slots that we had and just kind of let everything coast for the month. We have the ability to do that in this season of our business. And we've done that, and we have that because of all the forward planning that we've had. Because I think one of the big things that we have to remember, the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee, is that things maybe not be as consistent as you would always like them to be or as guaranteed. I like knowing that it felt good, honestly, to be able to tell you how would it feel if for the month of July, we just took some time off and slowed things down and just worked on list building and just worked on the podcast. How would that feel? And knowing that it wasn't a decision between completely shutting down or having to go a million miles an hour. It was nice to not have such a stark dichotomy to choose between.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, there's no question. Honestly, it was a bit of a relief because I think we also forget that usually, especially if you have kids, and I think it's kids of any age, and to some extent, I think it's even for empty nesters whose kids come home from college, that all of a sudden the expectations in your house shift, your responsibilities or your obligations, however you want to phrase it, they all shift. It's a matter of like being able to prioritize and decide what it is that works best for you. No judgment here. I know most entrepreneurs who continue working all summer long and they find the time. It's just that for anyone who really took a step back and really is like, how am I going to make this summer work? How am I going to be able to spend the time I want with my kids and still run a business? That there are other options available. It requires planning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest missions and the biggest things that we try to do in our business is model for other business owners how you can make this work. What does it look like on the other side? When you come out of this, all right, so we're going to take some time off. What do you think that's going to mean for our business at Serendipitous Rebel?
I think when we say taking time off, I think it just strips away some of the deadlines that we've set for ourselves. Some of the, we have to launch or we have to sell or we have to, whatever it is that we had planned on doing. But it doesn't mean that work isn't going to be done. I think it just says that, hey, we're going to come back in September and we're going to relaunch in whatever configuration we're looking at doing, but relaunching, say, the boot camp, the purposeful podcasting boot camp. But instead of doing it in July, it'll happen in September. So I think it's just taking a really good look at deadlines and stretching them out. I think that's how it looks for us. And again, we're in a position where we can do that, which is great.
Yeah. And I know one of the things we've talked about is really trying to take a step back and look from a creative standpoint. How can we do things differently? What does that look like? What does that look like for our clients? What does that look like for our community? What does that look like for our business model? How can we change the paradigm? How can we do things that are lighter, that are a little bit more fun? How do we get to work with more people that are fun? And what does that look like long-term for us? And I think if taking the time to take the step back gives us the space to be creative, to talk about that and to think about that. And I mean, like, who are we kidding? Wendy and I are still going to Vox every day back and forth. We're still going to talk all the time. We're still going to meet regularly, but it's going to be without this pressure. Yeah. And this cloud hanging over our head of like, all right, what are we getting done today? It's without having to whip out more sales pages or, create 6 million more funnels for things. I think that's what I'm most looking forward to is space for creativity. And I don't think enough of us build that into our businesses. And I'm really excited about that.
I envision spending more time in my backyard or maybe even reading. I have all of these fabulous books that I'm dying to dig into, but reading has not been in my mind. And I know this isn't really true, but really hasn't been what I would consider work.
Right. Well, and I've also tried to take more time to do that. I think we really beat the self-care bandwidth. You need to self-care. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. I feel like my bandwidth has been so thin this summer between the kids and everything else that when I do have a free minute, I was telling somebody this the other day. It's like I have a free moment between an 11 and 1 on Friday where I finally don't have anything done. Now all of a sudden I feel like, oh shoot, I should be working versus calling a friend and going to have lunch or versus scheduling a quick massage.
Mm-hmm.
And now kind of taking away those deadlines and taking away, like you said, that pressure, because now I have limited hours in my day to be able to do stuff like that. Now I can actually kind of shift the focus and deprioritize work a little bit more and maybe prioritize myself for a change, which I think I'm in a season of life where I'm really needing without needing the permission from everybody else to do it.
I think of at the beginning of the summer, it's just doing a really good assessment of where I am, what's important, what's a priority. Yeah, definitely. Self-care is just huge and so important. Can't really necessarily expand your bandwidth.
Right.
It's how do you reprioritize whatever is important to you. I love the whole importance of self-care as well. And it's also, and this isn't necessarily as much for you as say for me, but when my kids are in school, they're much more independent. I have more responsibilities actually during the summer than I normally have, which can sometimes be a bit of a frustration for me. Not sometimes, like a lot of the time.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. Thing is, also, I want to spend the time with my kids. I don't have a lot of time left before they're gone. And I don't really say this, I don't think, but sometimes I'll think, oh my God, can I, it's not the voxing. The voxing I look forward to, but just sometimes it's like, really, I would rather spend a little time with the kids than do work. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
No, it's not. It's totally not meant to hurt your feelings.
No, it doesn't. Well, and I know that when I told you today how I was really feeling about how would you feel if we took some time off? I was scared to say that. And if you listen to the episode, guys, where we talked about the 5 hats you wear, navigating roles and responsibilities, both of us wear a business partner hat. We feel a lot of responsibility to each other. And to the business and to our clients. And we really want to show up really well for them. And so we were really trying to talk through today, how can we structure this so that we can still be in support of each other, in support of the business? We're not just completely burning it all to the ground, but we can take us some time and take a breath for ourselves. So in talking about that, what are the things you absolutely should not stop doing if you want to take time off?
Well, that's actually such a really interesting question. And I think that you need to still be that you still need to be there in some way or in some ways in front of your audience. But the beauty is, I think, okay, here's the secret. Sometimes we actually record more than one episode at once. We'll sit down and actually record a few episodes, and then they get batch edited and batch set up. I hope I didn't burst anyone's bubble with that. And even the same thing can happen with social media.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, and actually, it's the same thing with emails. You still have to be visible. Your brand has to be visible. You can't get away from that. But again, it can be done, I think, in such a smart way.
I agree. I think that you should continue. So if you are like us and you're like, I'd like to take some time off, some things, set up some systems in place in your business, automate some things, schedule out some things, batch create some things. Even if you're showing up a minimum 3-4 times a week, just to keep your name out there, I think it's fabulous. Don't give up the weekly email, guys. Sit down, knock out 4 emails to your audience, schedule them out for the month. In our case, we love podcasting. Obviously, we're batching some episodes and we will have those rolling out. The only other thing I would say is continue list building if you can. If you have the ability to run ads to continue growing your list, keep doing that, because there's absolutely no reason to not do that. So much of that is systemized and automated anyway. or at least it should be in your business,
Mm-hmm.
guys. Keep your lead magnets out there, keep growing your stuff, and keep your calls to action out there and keep that consistent, because there's nothing worse than taking time off of your business and then coming back and not having much of a business left.
Right,
And
exactly.
I like the fact that we have things structured in such a way that there's no fear of taking off, because so much of our business kind of runs itself, and we'll still have pulses
Mm-hmm.
on our inboxes, still communicating with our team on the social posts and on like the content editing and things like that. But again, just without all of this added pressure of needing to fill coffers or put a lot of fuel behind
Launches or whatever. We are maintaining our existing clients, and
Yeah.
that's not going away. And but
No.
that actually is a sense of joy. Their success is so important to us. And in some ways, it's also a lot of people are looking for flexibility.
Mhm.
So if you wanted, instead if you have an arrangement that it's every week, maybe it's every other week, or have a conversation if you want with your clients to make whatever work. And if you're, depending on what you do, it may not be the best idea to take on, I'm thinking of like some tech, take on a big project in May, knowing that you really want to slow things down in
Right.
July and August. Don't feel you're going to get whatever it is completed. So I think it's a matter of being really realistic
Mm-hmm.
about what you're looking for, the time that you want to commit. And this is stuff we say that you should do anyway,
Mm-hmm.
all year round. I don't think it's anything super new, exclusively for the summer.
No, I think we just wanted to hop on here today and kind of model how it is that we're doing it. Because I think the other question is like, how do you make that work? Like, how can you get away with that? Well, like you said, we get away with that because we've got really great systems in place, and we've got
Mm-hmm.
a really great team that works with
Mm-hmm.
us to execute a lot of things. The reality of that is that that requires some pre-planning, that
Mm-hmm.
requires a lot of communication, and it requires a lot of capital to kind of go towards all of that. And so again, it's just a matter of how are you allocating the resources in your business to do that? And
Mm-hmm.
how are you maintaining that runway so that you have the flexibility? Because so many of us go into entrepreneurship for freedom and flexibility, and yet we don't
Mm-hmm.
take advantage
Yes.
of that freedom and flexibility because we feel outside pressure to hustle constantly and show up constantly. And I think that tends to zap our creative juices. And that's death to an entrepreneur sometimes.
Sadly, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And no one, no one wants death to an entrepreneur.
No one wants death to entrepreneurs. No, we want
No,
thriving, happy entrepreneurs. But in order for that
exactly.
to happen,
Exactly.
we just really need to remember to build in that creative space and that creative
Yeah.
time, that white space.
I will say, you had said something that you didn't want to take your laptop to the beach with you. And
Yeah.
that really hit me because, well, when I went away last month, I didn't take my laptop. These are conscious choices that we make that next year we'll know not to make it, we'll just have it baked right in,
Yeah. And
baked right in.
yeah, because you'll start to learn your pacing, right? And your
Yeah.
ebb and
Yeah.
flow of things. But the idea of not taking my laptop on vacation just in case something might come up. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really lucky because I have a Wendy, I have you. When things come up and I'm gone and I'm on vacation, you take care of it. I don't have to take care of it. But for so many solopreneurs out there that are not blessed with a business partner who can backfill things, you feel even more pressure about
Right.
being connected and staying dialed in and staying plugged in. And
Yep.
I think what we would like to teach and normalize more is this idea that you can do things in your business to make it so that you don't have to do that. But you don't have, and you don't need to burn your business to ground, and you don't need to tank it or hit the reset button. I think it's just hitting a pause. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to do that, you've got to, the drumbeat we hit all the time, have those systems in place, list build, continue to build authority through your content. But there's ways to do that. So
With that, I hope everyone is having by the time this airs, hope everyone is having a great summer. We are here, sort of.
Yeah. And, maybe you want to do this for when your kids go back to school, like have some time off when the kids go back to school. That's such a crazy season. Or maybe you want to do this, like Wendy said, in December around the holidays.
Yeah.
Maybe don't
And
work between
actually,
Thanksgiving and Christmas, which we don't
yeah,
tend to do a lot in that
yeah.
season anyway. So these are certain things that you might work between now and then to have in place so that you can do this as well.
Exactly. Exactly. We'd love to know what everyone is doing this summer. Have any great plans? And for that matter, even if you have really amazing plans for your business, we'd love to hear about it.
Oh yeah. And then if not, what are you reading? So I can fill up my beach reading.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, until next time, guys, we are the Serendipitous Rebels, and I'm the marketing queen, but Wendy is the biz mindset foundation, everything else queen. My God.
Whatever.
She does everything else.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's a lot of pressure going into not taking time off over the summer. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See everyone soon. Bye. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a rating.
But only if you liked it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself.
You can learn more about purposeful podcasting on our website at serendipitousrebel.com.
And if you have topics you'd like to hear about, be sure to submit them on our website or DM us on social media.